Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I got a review for you. And this is DC's Wondergirl issue number 4, and an issue I'm excited for. I have loved Yara's whole journey so far, the art, the story behind it. I'm in love with it. They're doing Jolie Jones, man. She is killing it. Who's What's Wise Wears? Let's get into it. It's Jolie Jones and Adriana. Melo is doing the art, and the Jolie Jones is doing the story, but Jolie Jones also does the art as well. Colors is Jordie, Bellaire, and Pat Brosseau is doing the letters, and apologies on any of the mispronunciations of the names. If you're not caught up with what's going on with Yara Flor, the new, right now she is titled as Wondergirl, but technically we're just learning about her. She has recently received her powers. She has received her first weapon, the Bolo, and the last we saw from her, Eros, one of the gods from Greek mythology, came and scooped her up, and now she is in Olympus. And that's where this story takes place. We're basically, in this issue, it's kind of about Jerry, the Pegasus, and the introduction of Jerry. We've already been introduced to Jerry way back in Infinite Frontier, but and this is kind of like the origin story of how, he became her ride kind of thing, her horse, her Pegasus. And how I even got the name Jerry kind of thing. But a lot of this issue is just her training as a warrior, her learning her powers, weapons, and stuff like that. She has been picked up by Hera, and Hera is usually seen as a bad guy, and we now know that's why all the stirring in Wonder Woman's world has been going on. The Amazons, the Egyptians, Nubia's Amazons, and the rainforest, the Brazilian Amazons, and they kind of clarify why like for instance, the Brazilian Amazons even exist, kind of thing. It basically starts out straight into, Yara's training on in Olympus, and specifically like different parts of Olympus, but she's being trained by Chiron, which is a centaur, and the centaur is tasked specifically with training her not only but strategy, but mentality, the psychological development of war, that kind of stuff, along with the weapons, fitness training, stuff like that. In the beginning of the book, she's not really picking everything up because, granted, she just got all these power, like her Wonder Woman powers kind of thing, enhanced strength, speed, that kind of stuff. So along with learning her new abilities and what they can do, she's also having to do with all the other training and tests. So in the beginning of the book, she's not faring too well, and she's she's a warrior, let's just say that, but it takes a little while to grasp, even to the point where Hera even gets, she's kind of losing hope that this could be, her new champion, because ultimately that's what Hera is looking for, a new champion. We get definition on what the new champion is to Hera, and it's basically once Yara takes that position as champion for Hera, basically she stays in Mount Olympus, and like she, I would assume, she would like have dealings with monsters and the other gods and stuff like that, because the way they stated, she wouldn't be able to go back into the real world. Eros does have a conversation with her to make sure that she knows what she is, if she does, because she has to drink Ambrosia, and once she drinks the Ambrosia, like the elixir of the gods, basically she will forever be Hera's champion, and thus never allowed back on Earth. She does state that before she does that, she needs to go home and she talk to, and I'm drawing a blank at his name, but it's kind of like her man back on Earth. But there is a scene where she's kind of like, right before all this happens and she goes back home to Earth, there is a scene where she's kind of like down and out, and she's actually crying in the middle of the rain. And by this time, there's already been like 2 or 3 occasions where she has tried to mount Jerry or even talk to Jerry. There's one scene where she just straight tries to jump on him, and Jerry kicks her off. There's another scene where she walks up to him all quiet and everything, talking to him all nice and everything. And she's like, "See, Jerry likes me," and she puts her, and she turns, and Jerry ends up biting her hand. But in this moment, she's all down and out. She's, she's crying, and she's overwhelmed with all the training and stuff and failing in many different areas. And Jerry kind of, I guess, senses this and kind of comes up behind her and starts confronting her to the point where, she's acceptance of Jerry and starts hugging her and patting him on the head and stuff, and doesn't even realize that Jerry has befriended her, kind of thing. and basically she kind of turns and just starts calling him Jerry, no rhyme or reason or anything. Then after that, they do go on the next day, and Cherry on is waiting for her to show up for training, and he's all like, "Oh, Yaras late again," and this and that, and she shows up flying on the Pegasus, and he's kind of amazed. And at that point in the book, it shows her progression as a warrior, weapons, everything increased because she was finally able to do one of the things that she was tasked to do. So it's kind of like her confidence boost like a millionfold and everything. They finally get to the point where she needs to go back to Earth to go, to go back to Earth, because the reason she wants to go back to Earth is because she made a promise to that guy. And his name is Joelle. I'm pretty sure I'm mispronouncing that. But she goes back to Joelle because when she left with Eros the first time, she had promised that, she would come back. And before she takes that champion position, she wants to go, say goodbye to him and stuff. And she even comes across this conversation with him asking if, like, what would you rather choose, happiness? And she's talking about her and Joelle, or the opportunity of doing something like in the position of Wondergirl or Wonder Woman, like being something more, like a hero, or doing something with her life. And she kind of turns to him and asks his opinion on the matter, and he has fallen asleep. And she goes back to like contemplating and thinking on her own. And before she does that, she is like reintroduced to, and I think her name is Porsha. Let's see. Yeah, Porsha. And Porsha comes, and she like appears because she's sleeping on the beach with Joelle in Brazil. And Porsha kind of appears out of the water, and she's like, "Hey, Yara, come here, I need to show you something." This is where we get a lot of the origin stuff that I mentioned in the beginning. Porsha kind of shows her in the water, like past events that led to where she is now, specifically with Yara's mom. And they go back way back when telling the story of how the Amazonians became the Amazons, how, Zeus made them stay on the island to protect Doom's doorway, and how they were cast away from the world of men, kind of thing. And at that time, all the Amazonians were kind of put on the island or something like that. And Yara's, and it says Yara's mother, but it says that she deflected and she went on this like adventurous kind of thing where she wasn't really known as an Amazonian, but she kind of just went on her own path, and eventually it led her to South America and Brazil, and she was like inducted by this tribe that was in Brazil and shown like the Amazonian ways there in the real Amazon, right? So that's how it defines like the Amazon, Brazilian, tribe of Amazonian women that are out there. And basically it's like it's her mother and that tribe. They built up that tribe, and she kind of states that this was always her path, that Yara was supposed to eventually join this line. It's always been there. It's just her mom deviated and this and that. now, like as this is going on, she gets kind of kicked out of the like the it's kind of like the magical explanation that's going on because Artemis and I forget her name, the I think it's not Donna or Troy, it's Cassie. But the other two Wonder Girls, they show up and they have, in previous episodes, they've been tracking her down. And we saw the last issue, they were in Brazil and they kind of just missed her as she left. But they finally catch up to her and they kind of warn her. And they're kind of like warning her to not be Hera's champion because Hera is known to be, a bad guy and she has her own agenda type thing. Basically like stating that, like, you better watch out because you're already causing a ruckus throughout the different tribes of Amazonians that exist, kind of thing. And Yara just basically states, you don't want to do this and that, or I'll beat the crap out of you, kind of thing. And they kind of both go their separate ways. And the next thing we see is Yara, like, going for the ceremony, getting all dressed up in her Wonder Girl, uniform and everything, and they show her walking, down the aisle to where Hera is on her throne, and Eros is handing her the Ambrosia, the elixir of the gods, to do the ceremony to become the champion. So, and they leave it off with Yara like right here with the chalice about to drink the Ambrosia. So technically she hasn't done it yet. And I'm kind of thinking she might not, or she might. I don't know. We're going to have to see how it goes, but that's where the issue leaves off. And there's a couple things I can say about this, man. The art, and I have every issue I've talked about this, but the art is some of the best, because it has a very Greek feel to it, and I just love it. Every panel, I mean, there's so much detail. The colors, it's wonderful to look at, even if you don't read it. But this story so far has been really amazing, and they're keeping you on that journey with the right amount of questions on what's going on. But not only that, I am reading quite a bit of other Wonder Woman titles in her universe, and they're kind of finally connecting them all, so that's kind of nice too. But we won't know really until we go a little bit forward, right? So that's my review. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see y'all soon. Y'all have a good one. Bye.